evening, and welcome to the hottest day in creation. Uh, for those of us living in Tacoma, look, I don't care if I'm inappropriately dressed tonight. It's hot.
Yeah, it is
I'm
hot.
trying. I'm trying to stay alive up in here, and I've got Thrett Brown with me from YBMW, and he is even hotter than it is outside. His thing is so hot, he needs air conditioning for his vision. That's
Yes,
how
indeed.
hot he is this summer. So, Threat, welcome back to the Black Robe podcast. It's been a couple of years, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to use this platform to talk about two major things that you're involved with in the immediate future, but also just to uh, give you your props on how you have grown your organization, the positive impact you're having, to congratulate you on the haters you collected.
I love
Because
them.
look, if you're not doing nothing, nobody pays any attention. It's
Yeah,
only when you're having an impact that you get haters. So that means you're on to something special and you've got people's attention. So welcome back to Black Robe.
and I appreciate it 100%. I appreciate it 1,000%. This is a full circle for me too. It's been about almost a year since I sat with you at the beginning when you first started this. So thank you guys for having me again.
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning, if you could, just for a couple of minutes for people who have never heard of YBMW. Why don't you start there? What was your original mission, vision, plan when you first kicked this off?
Well, the original vision plan was to just make sure that my nephews and them had a more positive way of earning money to be sustainable for themselves. That's initially how it all started out. If something can happen to me in a heartbeat and my nephews don't have no father figures, no dad figures, and I want to make sure that I can instill into them the skill sets that they need to be successful. And so that's what it initially started as. It wasn't a program and none of that. And so when people seen how I interacted with them, then I'm connected to people in the community, people with organizations, people with programs, and they seen that we had a thorough relationship. So we took it upon ourselves to say, let's create a program in hopes that somebody would foster us and put us up under their wing. I'm green, I'm coachable, I'm willing to learn the process of everything that goes forward so that way I can be a better contributor to the community. So, we started the nonprofit program, and the legitimacy was to help young people understand entrepreneurship, understand how to write a business plan, how to critique their business plan, how to answer the questions that people ask them about a business structure from the ages of 13 to 24. That's originally how it all started, and becoming mentors in their community. That's the route.
Well, it's been an amazing, rapid
Mhm.
move um, into that vision and even a broader impact that you're having in the community. You have these great partnerships. Of course, your spinoff, TG Dub, with
Yeah,
Malik Banks,
yeah,
running that organization has been wildly successful.
yeah.
They've got a great partnership with Imagine Justice and AmeriCorps going. They've done some great work with the ACES Leadership Program and
Yeah,
IBJ, and
yeah,
they're in demand.
yeah.
So I'm wondering, were you expecting them to spin off and do such amazing work and partnerships and actually have people coming to look for them to help with recruiting for
Right.
their programs? Did you know that was going to happen? Did you anticipate
Yeah,
that?
yeah. The whole time, the whole time, and that was the differences between my interactions with the young people growing up in this whole program and stuff. A lot of people see me show up as the only adult that walk in the building with a group of 13 and 15-year-old kids. You know what I'm saying? At that time, Maliknan was like 15. My youngest nephew was 13. His brothers were 16 and 17 years old. So whenever I walked into a space in 2012 to 2013, I would say I'm waiting on my business partners. And lo and behold, come walking through that front door, some teenagers. And people say, well, when does your partners get here? I say, these are my partners right here. And so and what made me see that is because, like, I asked them what was their visions and what they wanted from life, and they started to tell me. And so I seen in advance that if they can stick with what they're talking about, then this is why they will be my business partners in the future. And so, heck yeah, I told Malik a lot of the times people are going to want your services, bro. They're going to want what you provide, your mentorship and your leadership. And he didn't see it. Neither one of the young people that I work with seen it, but I seen it in them. And that's the thing that I love, that they come back to me and say, Threat, man, I appreciate you seeing what we're able to do today. We talked about budgets. We talked about what are you going to do with 250,000? What you going to do with 150,000? And they structured that conversation with knowledgeable intent, you know. So yeah, I knew all of this stuff, Carol. I knew it the whole nine.
You could see it.
I seen
And
it.
I remember probably 3, maybe 4 years or so ago when you sat in my office up at the county back in the day, back in the dungeon days of Carol Mitchell's life.
Yeah.
You were trying to have a conversation about your intentions from a juvenile justice perspective, offering up a way to deal with juvenile justice issues over at the juvenile court.
Mhm.
And there were some barriers to that
Yes.
seemed like they were going to be tough to overcome, and you have definitely just said,
Mhm.
hey, look, if I can't get this done one way,
Yeah.
there's like 5 other doors that I've
Yeah.
got as
Beautiful.
options to walk through. And the
Mhm.
one you chose has been wildly successful. I do want to talk about your partnership with Summit
Yeah.
because I've been seeing you went
Yeah.
on the tour of Summit.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. And then you've got a clothing drive going
Yeah.
on. So tell the audience about that.
Okay, so the summit thing was, so if we take it into the beginning, when my team was young, when Malik Justice, Reese, Pat Dickerson, True, who was at Miriam McBride at the time, all of these young people was like they was teenagers. We was at Stadium High School, first and second lunch running programs. We was at Wilson High School, first and second lunch running programs. At Giorgione Middle School, running lunch programs, after school programs. We was at Jason Lee doing Avid programs, you know,
Wow.
McCarver. We all over the place in the schools with no contracts. So we was doing the work. And so fast forward, our biggest goal was to develop mentors. So it's almost like rent a mentor, right? So everywhere we go, people are always saying, hey, we need mentors. So it's like, okay, well, instead of people constantly asking us for mentors, it's like, let's help develop these young people to become certified mentors. So that way, when the ask is out there, you can just reach out to the organization and say, we need 4 mentors. And you just run through the program and you pick and choose who you feel to fit your description. Right. And so that was our layout, this blueprint. And so fast forward to now, I went to the Rain Incubator with Noemi from CJK Home,
Yes.
CJ Community Homes. We went to the Rain Incubator
That's
for a
that's that's
presentation.
that's that's my new dim sum buddy right
Hey,
there.
right? Hey, for real, right?
I love her. She is
And so
good peoples.
she is. And so we went to the Rain Incubator presentation, Grit City, which is another story. But Grit
Hmm.
City was there, and then we ended up hearing about the Summit Olympus charter school that they got downtown. And so I went and did the tour. I met with the lady Tiffany Reynolds, and she gave me a tour of the school. The school is amazing. When I walked through the school, I was like, now, had I been in school with this opportunity young, I wouldn't have dropped out in the 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? Because
What's the
it's so much
difference?
ownership. So the ownership to the school is that the teachers are held accountable at a higher rate. The youth are able to challenge the teachers if the youth was like, I didn't understand that because the way you taught it, then the teachers will do self-reflection on themselves and say, how can we better make this opportunity for you to grow and thrive? And there's no suspension in the school. They don't believe in the petty suspension.
Say what?
Straight up. And they're strong on the school to prison pipeline, and they realize that ostracizing a young person for something that they mistake or made a mistake on, kicking them out of the class, putting them in the classroom, or sending them in detention, that creates the school to prison pipeline mentality. And they say, so we don't do that. We have let's self-reflect. Let's call it a kumbaya moment, whatever you want to label it. But they
Hmm.
call those moments together, and they have the peers speaking amongst themselves about what triggered them or what made them think that the way that they thought. So it's that whole approach, man. It's like, I forget there's 6 pillars, but there's 6 pillars is accountability is one of them. Integrity is another, respect is another, and the respect, all of those things go both ways. In public schools that I see is that the students have to respect the authority, but in that school, everybody has to respect everybody. And it's a smaller school. Look, it's so crazy that for a youth to be able to see all of their homework assignments for the whole school year and do it whenever they feel like they want to do it,
Mm.
that's amazing to me. It's not a pop-up test here and there. It's these are your tests for the whole school year. Take them whenever you feel like you want to take them. And then the other contract that we're doing is that they got this thing called the exhibition. So the students are out of the school for 6 weeks out of the whole school year. They don't do school programs, and that's the contract that we're picking up on too, because we're going to start bringing students from the school to our lab center for 2 weeks at a time, doing entrepreneurship development, curriculum development, mentoring certification development, putting these youth into positions to shadow other businesses while school is going on. These kids have an opportunity.
Love
If you
it.
want to be a veteran, you can go to a vet or a dentist or whoever you have an inspiration to be like. We started connecting those people, those students with those people immediately. And that's
I love
amazing to
your
me.
lab. I love your lab concept. We could do a whole show just on that, but I just want to
Straight up.
congratulate you
Thank you.
on that space and the great work that you're doing there. We're going to have you come back in a few months to just talk about that big vision, and the
Straight up.
team that you've assembled to help you execute it is amazing. I had the pleasure of being introduced to them, and you
Yeah.
just have a solid team
Yeah.
and a solid business model and a strong board that I'm sure is getting even
Yeah.
more filled out with different skill sets every day. But
Yeah.
yeah, the summit partnership then is you are recruiting ninth grade, young people entering into ninth grade. Why that grade and not something else? What's the purpose of starting with ninth graders?
Okay, so here's the thing. So when they asked me to go, I went for the first interview and I just gave them a rundown about YBMW. And so they was like, Thrett, we love your model. I met some of the students that was at the school. These are young people from the Hilltop area, from the 84th Knockout Street area over there in Tacoma. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, look, we're trying to change our community. Now, these are ninth graders themselves. They're like, we want to change the community. And now they want to know, how does that work? So now we're talking about workshops. I'm like, you're a ninth grader. Can you put together a curriculum? Let's help you structure a curriculum. If you can change, then that's a program that you can create as a ninth grader that we can put you in front of elementary school students and preschool students and see how your curriculum works, right? And so when she
Yeah,
said,
test it.
let's do it, she said, let's do another meeting. And whoever you feel like you want to bring on board, then we can bring them. I said, I'm bringing Malik Banks and my business partner, RJ Stewart. So I brought Malik. And the crazy part about it, when I brought Malik, the conversation got so deep. The principal, which is a black man, another powerful attribute to the school. The principal is a black man, and so the principal mentors Malik's business partner, Lil Q, and they communicate. So it all tied together, and so their
They
newest
all
thing
knew
is,
there was a connection between
yeah,
them all.
yeah, and that's the power that I love. Look, I didn't have to introduce Malik to nobody. It's when he started talking, it was like, oh, I know who you are. And I'm like, boom. And me and Malik would look at each other and be like, what are you doing? On time and on purpose and stuff. So the thing is, they're a ninth to 12th grade school. Their new
Mm-hmm.
growth is to turn it into a K through 12 school. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, as the students graduate from the ninth grade, they're looking to fill those ninth grade spots with eighth graders that are going into the ninth grade. So they need a capacity
Got
of at
it.
least 20 students. And so I delegated that role to TG Dub and Malik to do the outreach because that's his strong suit. Malik has the relationship with young people to inspire them and notify their parents about the opportunity. And I just reach out to the parents that I do know and say that you will want your kids to attend this school. So Malik took that contract over. I stepped out the
I
way.
love it. Well,
Malik got that contract.
no wonder he couldn't meet with a sister. He was down there working
He
it out
doing
with
it.
Summit.
Yeah, he busy, man. He's locking in contracts and everything, and he loved every bit of it, man, because he believed that it would work.
Well, I'm very proud of again of the way the work that you started with your two nephews way back then
Yeah,
is manifesting itself in a
yeah,
in a beautiful nonprofit that Malik is running.
yeah.
And every time he stands up and takes a microphone, people stop and listen because
Straight
he's
up.
so real.
Hmm.
He's down to earth. He tells his own story so
Yeah,
beautifully, and it's a story of triumph. There was struggle, but he overcame some of the same barriers that I'm sure many of these incoming ninth graders are going to
yeah.
have to face. But I love that model. So
Straight up.
um, I'm not going to say good luck because I think
Right.
good leadership beats good luck.
Come on, man. I like that.
So
I
good
like that better.
leadership, Malik. Good leadership.
Right. And the
So
crazy, can I add one thing too? The
yeah,
crazy part about it is he's one of many that we work with. And it's like we don't even want to pull those in until we can afford to, let them work their jobs, take care of their families. But when the situation is right, we got a whole plethora of young people that's like, look, this is what we do. We just couldn't afford to waste our time and energy and not being able to be there for the people that we recruit and pull in. So, it's a powerful relationship, man. I love every
Well,
bit of it.
and we saw just a small number of them at the IBJ's Freedom Summer Symposium in May, where we had the beautiful pleasure of having like 6 or 7
Yeah.
of the TG Dub family
Straight up.
produce a beautiful set of recommendations
Straight
on
up.
some things that IBJ is going to bring to fruition over the next year. And why shouldn't they be paid for their creative ideas?
Oh, man.
Everybody wants a youth voice these days, right? Everybody is trying to design something for young people that are the most impacted. And every chance I get, I say, well, that's an expertise. You pay all your other experts, so you better put a line item in the budget to pay my young folks. If you
Seriously.
want me to recommend they sit on
Yeah.
your panels and
Yeah.
staff your advisory boards, then pay them a stipend for their time, because
Yeah.
their experience in the world, that's an expertise. They are experts at how
Yeah.
you survive the
Seriously.
conditions they were born into.
Yeah.
They have mastered
Yeah.
a life, fashioned a life out of maybe a hand that didn't have all the aces in it. You know what
So
I
come
mean?
on, man. For real. For real.
So I dropped off 3 or 4, I don't even know how
4
many now.
bags.
Oh,
4 bags. I counted, and they was heavy
they
bags.
was heavy, man.
They was heavy bags. I don't even know how y'all got up on the stairs because I struggled to pull them in the back of the room.
Look, me and my partner Chalet, is
Delay,
it
yep,
Chalet?
yep,
Um, she was tinier than ever, and she could
yeah,
lift those bags like no
yeah,
problem. I said,
yeah.
"Wow, this is a strong young lady." Yeah, but you have a clothing drive
Yep.
underway. So tell people about that effort, and when does that end, and
Okay.
how can we get you some more bags over there?
So the thing is, like, through my grant writer, Linda Danport, she's amazing. She's been working with me
Go,
for,
Linda.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Linda, very much. She turned me on to the grant opportunity through fundraiser opportunity through Value Village. So Value Village does this thing to where they give you a quarter per pound, right? So,
Oh, well, you
our
must have
goal,
got about $4,000 off of
come
my bag,
on, man.
because they
So they
were
give
heavy.
so they give you a quarter per pound. Our goal is to have at least $1,000 because our monetary goal is to generate $8,000 to $10,000 throughout this Value Village fundraiser. So that the proceeds will go to not just building programs, but the funds that go to us developing mentors, paying for young people to get certified, paying for young people to get their certifications in whatever craft that they want to take, whether it's videography, management, whatever it is that we can find a certification for them. We want to be able to compensate them so they got merit under their belts for what it is that they create and talk about. And so 1,000 bags will pull us to like $7,500. And so in us doing that, we split the differences with TG Dub because TG Dub is contracted with YBMW as our outreach and our marketing
Mm-hmm.
team. So through me and Malik pushing the needle on this whole movement, we're going to split the profits so that way he can invest into his outreach team and be able to compensate them for the services that YBMW need TGW to do for us when it comes to outreach and recruitment. Like I go back to the whole fashion of you saying, if they can provide the service and their own expertise, then why don't we compensate them? And so I've been knowing Malik for a long time, but I'm not going to take advantage of his skill set if I can afford to pay him. And so Malik, get on board with me, help me push this Value Village fundraiser so that way we can both be in the same boat of everything. And so, again, our goal is to have 1,000 bags by the end of August. I think that our end date for the Value Village Drive is August 23rd. So
Okay.
right now, we want to be able to get at least 250 bags a week between now and the 23rd of August. And we take the bags down to Value Village. So in that time, I'll put out a post that anybody want to help volunteer to load this stuff up on a U-Haul or whatever type of tractor diesel that we got. People can come and help us put it on there. The thing that we need the most is for people to do what you did. Be proactive and just drop the bags off at the building. That's what we got a building for. Drop the bags off at the building because there's too many people that want to contribute, but I can't waste the money that we're trying to raise to go to Spanaway, to Parkland,
Frederickson.
to Puyallup. Yeah, go to Frederickson. It's like if you can drop them off to us, we would appreciate it because people that get frustrated with the bags and just take them to Goodwill. So get frustrated with the bags and just bring them to the lab center on 1210 South Ferry Street, right behind the Ace Hardware on 12th and Sprague on the Hilltop.
Yes. And I didn't even know that little street was there. And that's a
Hey,
nice little spot that you've
right
got
up.
there.
Yeah.
Again, now is that where your lab ultimately will be? Is in that
So,
building?
me and the women and CJK community
I'm
room.
sorry, Thread, I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
You hear me now?
Yep.
So me and Noemi with CJK Community Homes and YBMW are going to collaborate at some point on a bigger facility to house and do lower level services for young people in the building. But this space that we have over here, it's more of the headquarters for the collective group of young people that we find that says, I'll take policy serious, I'll take the business literature serious. We meet here like the Black collectives. It's like the youth component of the Black collectives.
I
So if you
love
can
it.
look at the Black collectives on the elderly and an adult level, look at the Lab Center as the collective youth organization here, where we talk about funding, we talk about strategies, we talk about engagements in community, and it's only a hub for young people that want to truly develop their entrepreneurship skills or do job research or business plan research or create their workshops or presentations. And, so that's what we do over here at this location and run programs to our best ability, man.
Well, let's give people the best connection point uh, for getting to YBMW to find out more about getting their ninth grader at least a look at Summit or having Summit considered in their educational plans, and also about the clothing drive. What's the best place for them to get more information about it?
So you can go to our YBMW page. It's the at YBMW 1080, and make sure that you put the at sign, not the hashtag, but at YBMW 1080. That's at YBMW 1080 on your Facebook, and that'll start to give us direct message information back and forth with people that show an interest. But people can also start utilizing our website at www.ybmw1080.org. Come onto the website, look around on the website, give me your feedback about the website. If it's not functionable enough for you, leave a comment at the thing below. It's a
Right.
box below that you can leave information, uh, comment, interact with us, so that way we can know how to better serve the people. But my biggest thing is that for mothers who have young men and they stressing left and right about their young men,
Say what?
stop hesitating to hit the line, reach out. If you have young men that you're trying to grow and bring up to the table or surface, please interact with me. I'm not out here just to be out here. And I got more than enough young men that are able and ready to assist you in any fashion that we need to. But just be proactive on your part too, because we need y'all to show up and we can't chase everybody's young person. If you have them and you're struggling with them, you know where we're at. We're in a located building on 1210 South Ferry Street. Pull up over here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, you could bring three full black bags of clothes, or you can
Sure
bring
can.
3 or 4 young men and drop them, drop them off
Drop them
over there
off.
together.
Drop them
Just
off and
drop
get
them
back at us
off.
later on. Drop them off and come back later, right?
Come,
For real.
come back and get them. Well,
Straight up.
Threat, thank you so very much for the great work you're doing, the big old heart that you carry around inside
Yeah.
those big, strong shoulders
I've been
has made
trying,
a
man. I'm
huge
trying. I'm trying
difference.
to get my little workout
I,
on, man.
I see,
I've been getting back
there's
in there.
mine, there's
Okay. We gotta stay
mine. Or
healthy, man.
my muscle is down underneath, unfortunately, not a,
No, you good, Carol. 100%.
but I really appreciate the partnership. IBJ has been a beneficiary of your great work and
Yeah.
of TG Dub's great work, and we're looking forward to doing more in the future. So thank you for being here on the Black Robe podcast with me tonight. I'm going to wrap it up and just thank our audience also for being faithful, for allowing us to take some time off after a hectic May and June. We are back, and we're really glad that you're still there, waiting to see what we're going to do next and supporting the work that we feel we're called to do in the community. So, good night, everybody, and thank you.